Bigger isn't always better. Smaller AI models can deliver the right results and help reduce AI costs up to 90%. Be AI built for business. IBM.
It's moving day at the Masters, another picturesque day here in Augusta, Georgia. 53 players move into the final rounds with a green jacket in sight. Welcome into Mornings at the Masters, presented by IBM. Coming to you live from our studio on the grounds of Augusta National Golf Club. I'm Hally Leadbetter alongside Roger Steele. Roger, round 3 is underway, and if you want to watch live golf, you can catch it all on Masters.com and the Masters Tournament app. But we're going to get you caught up on everything that's been happening here at the Masters. We want to hear from you guys. Please comment, engage in the polls. We want to have a conversation with you all. Roger, as I was driving here this morning, it was dark, driving down Washington Road. The street lights were illuminating the sidewalks, and I just saw patrons carrying their green chairs with the smiles on their faces. I mean, it's the weekend at the Masters. This place is absolutely buzzing, and I cannot wait for round 3 afternoon. But play has already started, like I mentioned, but it's here. Saturday is here. I'm so excited.
I am as well. I think that we should just dive right into this leaderboard.
Let's do it.
So how are we feeling about Justin Rose sitting at the top of the leaderboard? I have some thoughts about this.
Let it rip. Let's hear it.
I've been digging into how he's been getting ready for just golf in general and the level of preparedness that he has, the investment in his body. I think that he's focusing on being better than he's ever been. And I know yesterday I said some things about, he's never finished out a Masters after starting with a first-round lead, but I think he's doing things to be better than he's ever been, so he's capable of doing something that he's never done. I'm not ready to count Justin Rose out. He's playing great golf, and I know that he's feeling good. How are you feeling about him?
Listen, I think, like you said, it's a new age for Justin Rose. It's the Indian summer of his career, if you will. 44 years old, trying to become the second oldest guy to get a green jacket. We'll see. But Roger, I want to talk about the guys that are chasing Justin.
Yes.
I want to talk about Mr. Rory McIlroy, who I believe you owe an apology to.
For the record, I do not owe Rory an apology. I owe all of the Rory fans clarity. Yesterday, I asked the question, did Rory shoot himself out of the tournament after the first round? It was hypothetical. I did not believe it to be true. And yesterday, he did exactly what I thought he was capable of. A 66 in the chilly air and the winds blowing. I really think that was a 64, and I think that he showed how complete a player he is. But the question that I'm asking myself now, are we 100% bought into Rory being a complete player?
Yeah.
Because something that's true, Rory has never won a major when trailing after the second round.
Okay, but can I?
If you want to say so.
Listen, I think using a similar point that you made for Justin, this is we've got new things in place here. I know Rory spoke to Dr. Bob Rotella before his round yesterday just to get his mind right. And I think with this new mindset, I think he was asked in his press conference yesterday, Rory, what did you prove to yourself in the world by shooting this incredible round? And he's like, I didn't prove anything. I've just confirmed what I already know about myself, which is I'm incredibly resilient. And I think that's the word that I keep coming back to for him is resilience. And so I'm just really excited to see how he's going to perform today. I think he's learned a lot about this golf course. Yesterday he said, I'm not going to push it out of the gate. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to wait for the opportunities to come, which he did. So I'm excited to see what he does today.
And we see you. We know you want to talk about Bryson right now, but I have to say that when Rory's last win in Sawgrass, he did trail by 2 after the second round. And I just think that he's showing that he's a more complete player. I am bought in. But let's talk about Bryson. Let's talk about him. Last year was his best finish in the Masters. He finished T6. And when the mad scientist experiments are going well, he usually knows how to make some tweaks so that he could get the formula just right. And I'm wondering, has he figured it out?
Well, yesterday he hit 115 balls after his round 2, which could be a cause for alarm for any other guy except this guy, Roger. I mean, this is just his formula for success. He said yesterday something really interesting. I'll probably go through 15 to 20 swing thoughts during a range session, maybe 100 swing thoughts in a week, which again, would be maybe something that you'd turn your eyebrows up at if it was any other guy, but that's just his process. He's a little bit different. He said he's a lot more patient now. So yeah, I'm very interested to see. Listen, I always love when a guy that has captured the low amateur honors, like Bryson, he's got a silver cup at home in 2016. I always love when one of those guys are at the top. So we'll see how he does.
And a couple more points. Bryson played really well in some high wind, and if you were watching his range sessions, his apex is not suited to really handle strong winds, and he still handled it very well, but he wasn't even able to birdie 13 or 15 because I feel that his drives weren't long enough. He laid up on 13, missed the green on 15. I think with calmer conditions, with knowing how Bryson loves to chase, because we saw what he did down in Valhalla, and because Bryson, when he won his first 2 majors, he trailed by 1 shot after 36. I think this man is built for the chase, and I really do think that this is Rory versus Bryson right now, finishing out this tournament.
All right, well, I think Scottie Scheffler would have something to say about that. Let's talk about Scottie. 5 under right now, 3 back. He said yesterday, didn't have his best stuff, but he was out in the afternoon yesterday. The wind picked up. He went 24 holes with no drama whatsoever, but then 3 bogeys in 5 holes. You can see here he got a really great break on 12. Ball popped out of the azalea bush. And then on the 18th hole as well, which we're going to get to here in a sec, he was really exploring the flora and fauna of Augusta National quite a bit.
He looked like he was sitting between us a little bit, right?
Yeah, we're wearing our azalea outfits today. Did we plan this? Yes, we did.
Yeah, of course we did. But I do want to say something that, in my mind, I do not think that Scottie has the sharpness to compete with what I'm seeing from Rory and Bryson right now. But I will say, I think that if he gets this done, this will be his most definitive and probably his greatest Masters performance of all 3 if he was able to get the green jacket this week.
I think that's a very fair point. You know, when he won in 2022, he was leading by 5 after 36 holes. In 2024, last year, he was tied for the lead after 36 holes. So it's definitely a different position that he's finding himself in, going after a green jacket. But, I mean, if he is saying that he doesn't have his best stuff and he's in this position, I can't imagine what he's capable of if he's able to find something for today.
I'm just saying right now that I think that this Masters tournament is a race to 12 under par. I think it's a race to 12 under par. I think that with Scottie being 7 back, I'm wondering, does he have the firepower over the weekend to get to that number? Because I do feel with 100% confidence that both Rory and Bryson can.
Okay, well, let us know what you guys think. Yesterday gave us a lot of meme moments. The internet was loving everything that was happening. Roger, let's take a look at these. How would you caption some of these photos? We've got Rory upper left. This was after his 2nd shot on 13. Then we've got Justin Rose getting the sunscreen off his hands. And then we've got Scottie. Like I said, he was in the flora and fauna, in the magnolia trees to the right of 18. With his caddy Ted just going, hey, buddy, you okay in there?
Oh, man. I think the Rory one was so funny because I know how relieved he was that shot found the green on 13.
He said that while the ball was in the air, he was saying to himself, you idiot, what did you do? It worked out, though. It worked out.
But this Scottie one, Scottie sitting in the bushes right now, I resonate with that so deeply because sometimes, you know, when the round isn't going the way you plan, it's like the whole course is spinning, and you need to just get away and slow things down for a bit.
Sometimes you gotta go sit in a magnolia tree. Hey, buddy, Mom says we can get McDonald's on the way home if you come out of there.
I'm not coming out!
That is an all-time caption. gosh, that is so good.
It was a cross between him being stubborn and hiding from his parents, and then remember that movie Bag of Vans? When Matt Damon goes into the bushes and he's having like this vision quest. I think that Scotty was in there like, man, you know, I really have some choices to make. I've made a lot of birdies on this back nine, but I've also made a lot of bogeys. Is this how we're playing this 89th Masters? Is this really who we are today?
I know. So good. So good. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Please put your thoughts and comments in the chat. We want to continue this conversation with you, and we'll continue to keep an eye on what's trending. But now it is time for our menu of the day.
All right. Let's get into it. Okay, we dive into the history of the Masters. We look at some of the most memorable moments throughout the years.
Also, Gabriela Gasparis, better known as Gabby Golf Girl, joins us live.
And we update you on our fantasy teams and so much more. We told you On the Range is going on CBS Sports Network. I got a chance to go in the trucks and see the technology they're using. Check it out.
This is where it all happens. Let's check it out. All right, so we here with Masters On the Range analyst Michael Breed. Mike, I've spent about 10 hours on this thing. But what should the fans and patrons really be learning from this feature?
Well, there's so many things that you can get out of this. You got 10 hours and you probably didn't get started, right? But what I love about this is watching how the players prepare for a round of golf versus practice. So if you look at, say, Bryson DeChambeau right now, the number of golf balls that he hit on Tuesdays is almost 400 golf balls. Yet on Friday morning, he's hitting only 65. That's a big difference.
What are some trends that we could look at as far as things that every player does during round warm-up sessions that us amateurs, you know, fans and patrons could take away from this?
Well, one of the really cool things about this is you can see where players are hitting golf balls from. And there are some players maybe trying to work on moving the ball a little left to right. They might stand exclusively on the right side of the tee box here in the tournament practice area and hit across the range.
Okay, so compare Bryson to some other players from Tuesday to Thursday's round. Have you seen any other trends with how players are warming up?
You know, it's interesting because everybody's a little bit different, right? So you take a guy like Max Homa. Max Homa is going to be hitting a lot of golf balls. He's coming in here not playing his best golf, right? And then you get a guy like, say, Ludwig Oberg. He's only going to hit a couple. He's got maybe the skill set that he's working on is the short game and the putting, and so he's going to spend a little bit heavier time in there.
And then what about how players are finishing out range sessions and stepping onto the court?
Particularly on a tournament day. They're going to hit their last couple of shots, maybe a driver, maybe a 3-wood, for that opening tee shot at number 1. So you look at Bryson versus Rory. Bryson's going to hit a couple of tee shots. That apex is at 161 feet. Rory's playing a little bit differently. And then when you overlay that, you can see, oh, yeah, that would have been perfect. That's in the fairway. That one's not in that bunker down the right-hand side. That's also extremely interesting, and that's something that you can get out of that information.
I'm ready to go spend
another 10
hours. Another 10 hours on this app. This is really
with you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, a little poll for you guys. Would you rather hit from the bunker or pine straw? Bunker, by far and away, is leading.
I don't know. I think that there's a lot of variability you get out of the bunker. I think that there's lip considerations, lie considerations. The pine straw, to me, if you could keep your feet quiet, I think that you can. There we go. People are starting to see things my way.
People are starting to see the light.
Yeah. Okay, look at that. And joining us now on Morning at the Masters, presented by IBM, Jim Bones Mackay, who knows something about this course. He caddied for Phil on all 3 of his Masters wins. Bones, thank you so much for coming by.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
We're so excited to have you here, Bones. Bones, something most people don't know is that every shot is tracked by sensors, and IBM instantly compares it to 9 years worth of similar shots. There are over 180,000 shots in all, and now we're going to take a look at some of the great recoveries from yesterday's round, and you're going to give us some insight. Does that sound good?
Absolutely.
All right, first up, we have Bryson DeChambeau's second shot at 4.
All right, so second shot. Okay, so we got Bryson coming out of the bunker here, and I'm always curious, are pros thinking about holding out bunker shots? Is that the thought process, or is it just is it a get it close, get it up and down? What's the mentality?
I think it certainly depends on the situation. Certainly from the left bunker there on 4 that Bryson was playing from yesterday, he's thinking make. If you hit it in the right front bunker there on 4, you're just looking to get anything within 10 or 12 feet and ultimately getting the ball up and down. But Bryson did a really smart thing there. He knew that if he missed the green, you have to miss a little bit left of that hole location, and ultimately was able to knock it down.
That's what I think some people don't think about, especially amateurs. They can really learn from the pros. Is think about where you want to miss, as opposed. Yeah, sure, you would love to hit it next to the hole, but that may not be the case all the time.
Absolutely, and of course, what you're looking for here is where is an uphill putt. You know, you'd rather be on a number of holes 20 feet uphill than 8 feet downhill, just because it's that much more makeable, despite the difference in the lengths of putts.
Got it. Got it.
I love that. I love that. Okay, let's move on. We got Rory's second shot. From the pine straw on 13. A little close to something that you're familiar with.
Yes, very close to Race Creek. This was just an unbelievable shot, and I'm sure when the golf ball was in the air, Rory was saying to himself, you know, what have I done? But it worked out perfectly. The ball fell a little bit to the left on the way down, and not only that, but he leaves himself 10 or 12 feet up the hill for eagle. Couldn't have been in a better spot to putt the ball from. But I honestly think that in these major championships, you've got to play incredibly good golf, but you've also got to get a lucky break here or there, and that could have been Rory's yesterday on 13.
Now, let me ask you, what do you think Rory's true intention was with the placement of that second shot? Where was he actually trying to leave the ball? Because I can't imagine that flirting with anything that close to the right side of that green was on the top of his mind.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I would think he was probably looking at least 30 feet left of it and just blocked it a little bit. We saw how far the ball was above his feet. He was choking way down on the club, and I think the ball just came out a little bit to his right, but it worked out amazingly.
And then one more question with that, ball above your feet out of the pine straw. Now, when you're in the pine straw, obviously there's a stability component to, you know, what you need to do, but do the same gravity principles hold where if the ball's above your feet, even if you're taking a more abbreviated or more controlled swing, you can still expect it to move and a lot like that?
I certainly think so. I mean, you raise a great point about playing from the pine straw itself, and there's a little bit of a wild card in that. Of course, Phil Mickelson's famous shot in 2010 here when he won his third Masters and also played from the pine straw there on 13 was an example of certainly a situation where I was worried about him losing his footing. But to your point, I think that the same principles do apply in terms of how the ball curves in the air.
Okay, all right.
Got it. Well, I also quickly, before we go to our last one here, Bones, our poll that we did with the fans that were watching, what do you think, sand or pine straw more difficult? Where would you rather have a player that you're caddying for end up?
Well, Roger brought up a great point relative to the lip on the bunkers, and certainly here at Augusta National, they can be profound at times. I'm a little bit more of a pine straw guy, as long as it wasn't laid down in the last few days. Usually it settles a little bit. Certainly it would have this week with the rain we had on Monday.
And hopefully you don't have a pine cone behind your ball. Then you got to get in there and try to play Tetris.
Exactly
and
right.
Make sure it doesn't move. All right, the last one we're going to look at here, Bones, is JT's second shot at 3 from the right pine straw.
Yeah, really tough angle here. Go ahead, Roger.
I'm just saying, I think that the pine straw shots, I'm not saying I'm a great golfer, but I just prefer them. I prefer them
to grass?
Not to grass.
Okay.
Okay. But explain to us the difficulty of that shot. You know, I don't want to dumb it down too much.
It's amazing. I mean, certainly coming out of the pine straw, the contact, there's a little bit of an X factor in that. The fact that JT there was able to fly the ball to the green, get the ball stopped as quickly as he did was pretty remarkable. But we shouldn't be surprised by anything he does around a green or within 100 yards or so, because I think arguably he's the best on the tour.
All right. All right, so now we have some hole insights, Bones. Specific to particular hole locations, which will be the most challenging today, do you think?
I think that certainly the 17th hole comes to mind. It's the hardest hole location on that green. One of the 10 commandments here at Augusta National is to this back right hole location, you never go long. It leaves an incredibly tough chip. So the players will be playing back in the fairway. It's not the shortest hole out there by any means. And they'll be thinking to themselves, my goodness, I want to press the ball back there, but I want to take over the green out of play. And as a result, I think a lot of people will come up 25, 30 feet short there today.
Just 8% chance for a birdie there. Wow, that's tricky.
And I think that's a really keen insight, because I remember Rory in his first round, 17, gave him that double bogey because he flirted with the back left hole location, shot it over, and I mean, it just, you know, mayhem from there.
Exactly right.
Okay. So now, let me ask you this. That hole will be the most difficult. Which hole today is going to be the most pivotal?
I think the 15th hole, it's a very, very accessible hole location given the fact that the pin's towards the back right. It's very doable in terms of getting the ball up and down for those guys that lay the ball up. But for the guys that drive it today, and let's keep in mind, we shouldn't have too much wind, so we should see some very long drives off that tee. Guys should be going in there with 4, 5, 6 irons, I think, at times. And with that much space between the front of the green and ultimately that flag at 16 paces, I think we'll see some eagles there today and a lot of good looks.
A 53% chance to make birdie on the 15th. But it's also very interesting, like you said, with the wind kicking up. I was looking at some of the data in the app yesterday. Bryson ripped one, and the ball only went 290 yards into that wind. And that made this hole very difficult. Bryson's going on record saying this is a par 68 for him, but the wind the wrong direction, and then you're looking at this as a 3-shot hole or something that you can't quite get to. But it's also one of those holes where if you're not careful, you could leave here with bogey or worse. You know, you want to see a birdie here. You expect to see a birdie here, 53%, but it really has teeth if you're a little bit miscalculated coming into the green.
Absolutely right. And what's amazing is that IBM gives you this incredible data that the players and caddies are using to the nth degree. They're checking things out as soon as they get to the golf course in terms of how the golf course is playing. And what's amazing about it is with the AI generative addition to this, it speaks to you in your own language and can relate to you exactly what's going on the golf course down to the second.
I think what you just said there, Bones, is so interesting because we've had a chance to talk to quite a few players, and the players, not only are the patrons using the app, but the players are using the app to prepare for their rounds. So it's really cool to see all of, like we said before, 180,000 shots of data. The fans at home and patrons and players are all able to access that and really learn the golf course like never before, which is so neat.
It's amazing. It's this incredible collaboration between Augusta National Golf Club and IBM, and what they put out there is just priceless to these players and caddies, as you say. And I was on the phone with one of them this morning, pre-round, and he's in there on the app, just breaking it all down and learning as much as he possibly can relative to what they're going to deal with.
Amazing.
All right, thank you so much for spending some time with
My
us
pleasure.
today, Bones.
Thanks for having me.
Bones, enjoy your patron experience
Thank
this
you.
weekend. I know you put in a lot of work over the years on this golf course, so go get yourself an azalea.
I'll do it. Thanks so much.
All right, earlier this week, we got a chance to stop by the IBM Interactive Data Wall here at the Masters and experience all of the amazing historical information firsthand. Check it out. Here with Shannon Miller from IBM. Shannon, this is an astronomical amount of data. Can you go into detail of just what exactly we're looking at here?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a digital twin of the Augusta National Golf Course. We get data from the last 9 years, so 180,000 golf shots, 20,000 a year. Just to orient you a little bit, if it's yellow or it's red, that's good. Those are birdies and eagles. If it's white, it's a par. Blue is not good. Those are bogeys and double bogeys across the course.
Shannon, could you take me to Tiger Woods' Masters tournament history for the last 9 years?
What sticks out to me is 13. I mean, over 9 years, this man has not made a bogey or an eagle, just pars or birdies. That's crazy.
Could we look at Tiger Woods' 2019 Masters tournament?
Absolutely, that's a great one to go explore.
From 11 all the way.
Look at 12.
12, no
Pars.
bogeys. But all the way to 16, he doesn't make a single bogey the whole tournament. A player that's in search of a green jacket, one of the best in the world. Show me Rory McIlroy and how he plays number 13.
Rory, an absolute kaleidoscope here. We've got all the colors of the rainbow on this one.
Absolutely. I mean, he's been super aggressive, but it seems to have paid off for the most part. Lots of birdies and eagles.
Well, this has been incredible, Shannon. Thank you so much. It's amazing to see all of the data that's been captured almost over the last decade by IBM.
It's been a real journey, and it's super exciting what we're able to do with that data now. There are some great capabilities in the app where we're leveraging this data to create awesome experiences.
We know this place. We know the slopes of every fairway and the breaks on every green. We know every fist pump, every roar, and capture data on every shot by every player on every hole. And we use Watson X to turn that data into insight, bringing you closer to the Masters than ever before. Imagine what Watson X can do for your business. This is the Masters on AI.
Welcome back to Mornings at the Masters, presented by IBM, and it is moving day, and I'm going to be following all the action on the Masters app. Hally, did you know it won an Emmy Award?
I did not.
Maybe we could win one too.
I don't know. I don't know if we're eligible. We'll have to look into that. All right, well, I already set my group to watch my fantasy team today and watch every hole for my team. Make sure to tell us in the chat how you use the Masters app, because there are so many cool features, all thanks to IBM.
All right, Hally, I've been waiting for this all day.
I'm ready.
I love the Masters so much. I want you to make me a list of top Masters moments.
I've been waiting for you to ask me this for the last couple of days. I'm so glad that you did.
Okay. All right, top Masters moments, Hally.
Okay, well, I'm first going to go with Jack's second 9 in 1986. I was -6 years old at the time, so I did not get to have the experience of watching it firsthand, but wow, how cool is this? Shooting at 30 on the back to win by 1, that iconic last birdie on 17, yes sir! 46 years old, 6 green jacket. It's just so cool.
The step-in putt on 17 is just it's something that I don't think enough people have added to their post-shot routine, their post-putt celebration routine. I really think the step-in raise is something that I'm exploring for 2025 and beyond.
It is really one of the most iconic silhouettes in sports.
But when you think about what Jack did in '86, a lot of people, I want you to go, on YouTube, go watch these highlights. But Jack went birdie, birdie, bogey, birdie, par, eagle, birdie, birdie, par to finish. And I just think that, to do that at the age of 46, Greg Norman's breathing down his neck. He actually stole the tournament for Greg Norman. And to do all of that when you're past your prime and people are counting you out, and with your son on the bag, is something that, I think that that's one of the most historical finishes in the game.
Yeah, and I'm sure Justin Rose will be drawing on that for inspiration. You can see his lovely picture right behind him in terms of trying to get a green jacket when you're maybe not in, like you said, he's traveling with the...
Justin Rose he's still in his prime. He's working to be in his prime.
That's true. I like that. All right, okay. I'm going to go to my second one.
Yes.
All right, Tiber's chip in on number 16 in 2005. Let's go with that.
This is, okay, so if the IBM folks were in here still, they would be talking about the likelihood of getting this up and down.
Such a difficult shot here, Roger.
This is one of those shots where Bones saying, hey, we'd rather miss anywhere but there, because the likelihood of getting this done is so improbable, but this, the most iconic drop in history.
And he was tied late in the round. He was tied with Chris DeMarco. They were battling back and forth. Really, really difficult up and down. Again, that was another famous Vern Lundquist call. In your life.
In your life.
Which is something that now all my friends, when we play golf and we happen to chip it in, I mean, it's definitely not quite the pressure of that situation, but we love a good Vern Lundquist callback. One of my favorite moments actually last year, it was Vern's last Masters that he was working, and when Tiger, he played early on Sunday, Vern was on the 16th green and shook his hand. At the time, it kind of looked like he was shaking hands with a tree, which was a funny photograph, but that moment was just really beautiful.
And another thing I want to call out about all of Tiger highlights, which gives me hope as a struggling golfer, is that they all come when Tiger seems to put himself out of position. And I do that all the time, but I just haven't quite mastered the recovery that the big cat has. Okay, last but not least, give me your third favorite Masters moment.
Okay, it is Phil's famous shot from the pine straw. As a lefty, I just really appreciate this. 2010, leading by 1 over Lee Westwood. Now, I've heard that he told the man that was just in here, Bones, he said, Bones, before you say anything, I'm hitting the shot.
And sometimes you have to lean into that intuition as a player. You know when you have it in the bag, if you can just commit to it, pull it off, and just live with the consequences, that's a sign of a true player. Like that, my dad always tells me, winning is not about making the right decision. Sometimes it's just about making a decision.
I like that. Yeah, you've got to be so committed. I love that. And Rory said that as well. You have to be willing to get your heart broken. So 201 yards to the hole, 186 to carry Rays Creek out of the pine straw. Your favorite place to hit from?
I do like a good pine straw shot. I do like a good pine straw shot. Are there any other moments that I want to think of? Something else that comes to mind is the 2013 Adam Scott win. And I think that the reason that I feel that way is because, you know, the Australians have had a tough go at the Masters, and I felt like it was always getting taken from them. For him to come down the stretch, battle, you know, birdie to, you know, eventually get into the playoff, and then that birdie on 10 to get it done. I just think that that was a very big moment, and I was so proud of him as a player and what it meant to Australia.
Yeah, all right. I didn't know you had such a soft spot in your heart for Australia, but I love that.
Jason Day fan.
If we got any Australians watching, let us know what that win meant to you. And if we missed any iconic Masters moments that you think we should have talked about, let us know as well. So, Roger, all of those moments were legendary, but they're not the only legends getting us ready for today's action. We've got Gabby.
So you pull into Magnolia Lane.
Was it everything you thought it was going to be?
What's going through your mind?
You can compare it to anything.
What is that feeling? Do you get this feeling anywhere else in the world?
You can't. No, there's something different about it. It's very, very hard to explain.
It's hard to put into words.
It's just a very special place.
Even to this day, driving up Magnolia Lane, it just gives me chills.
There's a reason certain places make us feel a certain way.
Sure enough, you pull in Magnolia Lane, it just takes your breath away.
It's better than anything that your imagination can conjure up.
It doesn't get old.
The beauty, the aura, the tradition. It's a destination for anyone who loves golf to watch their dreams come true.
It lived up to everything I'd ever watched.
Running through my veins.
I think the nerves come from everything.
When you say my name and the high,
That is,
no, it never goes away.
that's the level of intensity needed at Augusta.
There's something truly magical about this place that transforms our emotions.
Is it his time?
A metamorphosis of nerves in which the butterflies in our stomachs never go away.
I still get nervous when you walk through the door and you look in my eyes. Yeah, it feels like the very first time. I could fall for you forever, I'm certain. 'Cause I still get nervous. Oh, you walking so perfect.
To have my son
My heart short circuit.
jump in my arms,
No, I don't deserve this.
it means so much to me.
I still get nervous.
Sorry. What's the first thing you'll do when you get home?
Well, you know, it's,
I can't even talk.
I will embrace my family, for sure. It was very emotional.
The return to glory.
That picture speaks for itself.
He's been holding back the emotion until now.
What more can you say?
And no matter what happens this week, that unique Augusta feeling
'Cause I still get nervous.
will always remain here
I still get nervous.
at the Masters.
Bigger isn't always better. Smaller AI models can deliver the right results and help reduce AI costs up to 90%. Be AI built for business. IBM.
At 17 years old, Gabby Golf Girl has built a huge YouTube following and played with some of the biggest names in the game. Gabby, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited. This is awesome what you guys are doing.
We are so excited to have you. We are on a platform that you know very well, YouTube. So we just wanted to kick things off with that. How did this incredibly successful YouTube career, how did it begin? How did you decide to pick up a camera and start to film videos? And I love the fact that you're on a golf course, that we're interviewing you on a golf course. You're probably like in the middle of shooting content right now.
Yeah, I was about to go practice, but I started basically, I wanted to do something different. I was always obsessed with, consuming social media. A lot of kids are, they're just watching social media. But I was kind of intrigued that nobody was really doing it for golf, especially as a girl. clean, different types of content and just showing the skill out there. A friend of mine, who was my trainer at the time, had started growing social media from like 800 to 50,000 followers on Instagram. He posted every single day golf workout videos. So a very specific niche. And he was telling me, he was like, yeah, I just grew. I don't know what I did. Just posted every single day, consistent. I was like, I'm going to try that. Is that like, I'm going to try it. He's like, yeah, you should. You know the workouts, try it. So I did it. It grew to like 10,000 followers. I didn't grow that much in like 3 months, but then another friend of mine was like, you need to show your golf skill. Like, I think that's what people are going to be interested in. So like do a shot, talk to the camera. It was very nerve wracking at first because I was still in school and I thought people were going to make fun of me for like talking to the camera and trying to make it, you know? But the first video that I did, I started talking to the camera, said, I'm going to hit this shot on this golf course, actually, hit this shot under the tree. But it blew up to like 1 million, 3 million views. And then it was kind of after that was growing and just showed my golf skill instead of like golf workout videos, because that's not really my thing.
And you know, your platform is way bigger than just people watching on YouTube. You get the respect of some of the best in the world, and you've actually gotten to collaborate and create content with some of the best players in the world, Jon Rahm, Nelly Korda. What is it like to be, you know, a content and media personality, but then have the best players in the world pop up in your videos?
Yeah, honestly, it's an incredible feeling. It's people that you look up to, watching the Masters, watching tournaments, you know, when I was like 12, 13, 14 years old, before I'd done social media. And I was like, man, it must be so cool to like be able to collab like that. And for me to be able to do it, I think what's different with them being on my channel, which is really cool to see, I can't tell you how many positive comments that I've gotten that are just like, wow, it is great to see Jon Rahm, Nelly Korda have their personality come out and be able to show them on a platform that's maybe not the Masters where they're, you know, honed in trying to win, but it's a different platform to show their personality. And I think both are really important. And so I got a lot of positive comments, especially with Jon Rahm and Nelly. It's just like how incredible it was to see their personality for real. And just, I learned so much from them. I mean, they talk about things with golf that are just like, wow, you are not going to hear that anywhere else. Little tips that you learn on the course, even in a match against them, like they're just so open to telling their kind of like secrets. And I learned so much with being from them, and it was awesome.
Wow, it's really cool to be able to get insight into a Masters champion's brain. Gabby, I'm curious, what does the Masters mean to you? I'm sure you're going to be tuning in this weekend. I'm sure you've been watching already.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Masters. To be honest and transparent, like I don't watch golf all that much throughout the year. This is like the only tournament I watch because I'm playing every single day. Like I live on a golf course pretty much. So if I'm watching TV, I'm probably not going to watch golf. But this week is so important. My friend and I text back and forth, and he watches. I'll be on the golf course. Like, for example, on Thursday when it started, I was playing a pro golf tournament, and I'm literally watching it on my phone. He's texting me. He's like, did you see John hit this shot? Did you see that? And I was like, no, you got to tell me. You got to text me the updates because I can't. And so I love watching it. I think it's so much fun. Masters week is the best week for golf.
Is there anybody that's near the top of the leaderboard right now that you're going to have your eye on this weekend?
I kind of like that Justin Rose is in first. Like my friend and I were saying, like, I think this is a great opportunity for him. Like, I would love to see him win. But there's a lot of guys out there. Joaquin I got the pleasure of meeting him and getting to know him, and he's amazing. And so I would love for him to pull through. You know, it's definitely harder when you're even 2 over, but I think he's got a great personality, and I would go out and watch him and Jon Rahm. I'm just pulling for to do well this week. But I would say, who else? I like Justin Rose at the top, and Scotty, obviously. Everybody loves Scotty. But yeah, I think there's a lot of good names out there this week.
And I just want to ask you one more question, and before we let you go. You know, you did some collaborations, you know, with a past Masters champion, and I know that you have a good insight into who would do well in the content game. Who in the Masters field do you think would be the biggest sensation on YouTube if they started their own channel and did what you do?
I think that's a great question, actually. I'd have to think about it, but I think Jon Rahm, and I keep mentioning him, but he is so amazing.
He is.
I got the pleasure of playing with him last week, and he is just unbelievable. I mean, first of all, he could talk about golf, like, and it's so interesting. Like, some people could talk about golf for a while, and you're just like, okay. But this guy has so much knowledge, and he's just so personable and sweet and nice. And I think, sometimes it's hard. You portray him, he's like this tall, big guy who's driven, you know what I'm saying? So some people will get like the wrong impression, but after watching my video, I think there's so many people that came away saying like, wow, this is like a genuine guy. So I think he would do incredible on YouTube, and people would just watch for hours because I was like, you talk, like I'm just here to listen.
Well, Gabby, if John ever decides to start his own channel, I think he's got a great mentor in you. Thank you so much for your time, and hey, have a good practice. Hit some balls for us.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Thanks, Gabby. So the connection to this tournament is one that evokes a lot of emotions and memories. We got a chance to ask patrons, who is the one person you think of when you think of the Masters?
The one person I think of?
The one person I think of the Masters? When I think of the Masters, I think of my dad.
My granddad, actually. He used to come every single year, and he passed away this year, so it's super special to be here.
He got me into golf, and there's nothing better than walking Augusta with my dad.
Jack Nicklaus.
Jack Nicklaus.
I think of Jack Nicklaus. I mean, he's just iconic. He's the GOAT.
Yes, sir!
That's one reason you come on a Thursday is to watch him tee off as an honorary starter.
I think of my grandfather. It makes me tear up because it thinks of my grandfather. This place is very special to him.
Gotta be Tiger. Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods?
Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods, Return to Glory.
The Return to Glory.
I think of Jim Nance.
Roy McIlroy.
Scotty Scheffler.
Phil Mickelson.
Jordan Spieth, 100%.
Bobby Jones. I met him in 1964. I was 14 years old. I was out on the golf course. He was in a golf cart by himself down around Amen Corner, and I was scared to death to go up to him, but I did, and he was the nicest gentleman.
Yeah, Bobby Jones, for sure, just being local.
My dad. We started watching the Masters back in the late 50s, and of course Arnold Palmer became the go-to person that you'd watch, and so we'd watch every Saturday and Sunday, and as we were talking the other day, with maybe no more than 3 holes covered.
Arnold Palmer. Last time I was here, I was Myra's age when I came with my uncle, and I can't remember anything about it except it followed Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus.
Definitely Arnold Palmer.
Arnold Palmer.
The good old Arnold Palmer, Arnie's Army, baby.
Hideki Matsuyama's caddy bowing to the course is awesome.
I think of Doug Ford. I lived in Wilmington, North Carolina, and Doug Ford would come to the Azalea Open. He actually won a Masters here.
Well, my mother was from Augusta, and she actually had the original Masters tickets when it opened in 1934, right?
Yeah.
So I think of her and the whole family.
I think of my grandparents, because growing up, they would talk about the Masters, and they were able to go. Just hearing the stories and having the chance to visit with them always made it special. It's the people. It's the people that are close to you.
Make sure you tell us in the chat who you think of when you watch the Masters. Hally, thank you for the tissues earlier. I think that there was I got some water that was in my eye. It was the cup. I don't exactly.
When I got an opportunity to watch that piece for the first time yesterday, I did. I was like, oh my God. So nice.
But Hally, tell me, what does the Masters make you think of, or who does it make you think of?
Well, it makes me think of my dad, because I've come here throughout the years. My dad's a golf instructor. He's worked with a lot of Masters champions, which has been really cool over the years to have been able to come to this tournament and watch him teach and watch him help golfers try to achieve their dreams. And I think that ultimately leads me to thinking about just that relentless pursuit of excellence is what the Masters means to me, and it inspires me, whether that's from a player perspective or it's from a tournament perspective. You're constantly paying tribute to the past and with upholding tradition, but simultaneously tweaking and elevating and refining and just trying to be the absolute best that you can be. And that's honestly what the Masters means to me. What about you, Roger?
I was talking to Matt Ryan, who's going to be here with us tomorrow. But yesterday we had a really good conversation, and I think that what the Masters means to me is this is the precipice of human connection through golf, and it's hit me in layers. You know, in 1997, when Tiger won his first Masters, me and my dad were sitting on the edge of the bed, and I was just watching my dad get to the verge of tears with pride for what he was witnessing Tiger do. In 2019, me and my dad sat on the edge of that same bed, both of us nearly in tears, watching what he was accomplishing. But now that I've been able to come down to Augusta and see what the culture of this event is about, it really is just about connecting with humans through this game in an unprecedented way. The things from the no phones, how present you have to be in all of your conversations, how present you get to be with the golf, even to the volunteers. You know, they're all locked in, focusing on human experience, human connection. And I think that there's no other place in the world and there's no other event in the world that makes you take the time to spend time with yourself, with others, and with this game. And because you get to be so focused on what's happening in front of you, it's just, it's unparalleled. It's an unparalleled connectivity that I have to people through the Masters.
Unlike any other, that's for sure. Well, it's time for our fantasy update. I have finished in 8th place at 16 under. I am literally reading that for the first time, and I am shocked. Roger, I am still winning.
Hally, as far as her mornings at the Masters performance across all of these games that we've played, she's really put me to shame across a lot of different fronts, you know. Okay, but let's take a look at my Masters lineup.
36 holes to go, though.
We still got the only sore spot on this lineup is Jon Rahm, and I'm just kicking myself. How do you not pick Scottie Scheffler for your past champion? And you know what I did early in the week? I was like, you know how sometimes you're just saying like, I want to be different. I'm not going to do the same thing that everybody else does. I'm going to be different. Kids at home, everybody watching this, it is okay to be the same, and being the same means being right. What was I thinking?
Yeah, I don't know. That was interesting. I mean, you did say, I remember you stood up here and said, I miss Jon Rahm.
I do miss him.
I haven't seen him very much. And I think that got in the way of you making the smartest decision possible.
But you know, the other thing that was tricky about that is they had the projected scores underneath his name. And they had Scottie and Rahm projected evenly through the tournament. And that little tidbit is what pushed me over the edge. I'm like, well, you know, if the Masters app is telling me that they're neck and neck coming into the tournament, I guess I could just pick Jon. But kids, do what's right, even if it means being the same. There's no problem with that. It's fine. It's fine.
All right, well, we've been listening to the chat. Let's check in on some of your comments and what you guys want to talk about. Here's one. What final pairing do we want to see today, Roger?
Hally.
Or shoot, tomorrow.
Yeah,
Excuse
tomorrow.
me.
I'll let you go first. Who do you want to see in the final group?
Rory and Bryson.
Rory and Bryson.
I just think it'd be so fun. I mean, the patrons just walking down that first fairway, and I just love, like you mentioned, the human connection. And when you look up at the scoreboards and you see it change, and then you hear the crowd roaring. I cannot wait until, well, first of all, I can't wait to get out there today, but tomorrow is going to be incredible as well. So I probably have to say Rory and Bryson would be my dream final pairing. What about you?
Okay, look, kids, I know I just told you that, you know, even if it means being the same, do what's right, but I'm going to fade you a little bit right here. I think that I would like to see a Justin Rose and Matt McCarty final group. And here's my logic. Here's my logic. I would like to see them in a final group, and I would like to see Rory and Bryson in the second to last group, and I want to see them chasing and the fireworks of them, you know, mounting a come from behind victory. I think that would make for better golf. If both of them were in the final group, I think that they both might be playing a little bit defensive, and I always feel that second to last group, if they're chasing, there's way more fireworks. So I'm just saying, maybe a Rory Bryson second to last group is not the worst thing in the world, and maybe that's.
Oh, it's definitely not the worst thing in the world, that's for sure. People in the chat are also saying, what about Scottie? That's fair. Listen, I'm sorry. It's pairings, all right? It's not groups. It's only 2 people that we can pick. So, but yeah.
And people out there in the chat, I don't think Scottie's going to get it done this week.
Oh, wow.
Maybe he's in the, third.
Put that, okay, listen, listen, you already had to apologize to Rory. Now you're going to have to apologize to Scottie.
I will, I'm telling you, if Scottie is able to get it done this week, this will be, I think, his best Masters performance relative to where his skill set is, his sharpness is coming into this event. If he's able to pull this off, my hat will be off to him. I will never, ever, ever doubt him again if he can mount a comeback here.
All right, well, we will see. So many photos from yesterday. I mean, there's not a better place to take a picture than Augusta National. Let's take a look at some of the best. Oh, so pretty, gorgeous.
Look at these shots. Again, human connection. It's human connection to each other from a player perspective, a connection to nature. There's no digital signage. There's no distractions. It's just
so cool.
Look at all of these people.
Main scoreboard there. Look at that. Nobody, not a cell phone in sight, just fully locked in the action at Amen Corner.
Oh, yeah. One of those bunkers that Hally would love to hit out of.
He's like the pine straw. Oh, Bernard Langer. Guys, he almost did it. He almost made the cut. Wouldn't that have been amazing? But what an incredible career. And that's why I put him in my master's class yesterday. Nice hug there from Chairman Ridley. What a special moment. And now we're going to take a look at some of the best sounds from Friday.
I think the leaderboard's stacking up very favorably for what looks like world-class players right up there. So you're going to have to play great golf. You know, you're going to have to go out there and want it and go for it and get after it.
Not getting too far ahead of yourself is important, and that's something you have to learn over the course of time with a lot of experience. You have to put yourself in position, you have to fail, you have to lose, you have to win, you have to come from behind, you have to hold a lead. All those expectations and feelings have to get conquered in your mind. That's why this game is played between your ears.
I shot 63 the first round at Memorial in 2014 and backed it up with a 79, and I came in to have lunch and I saw Jack there and he said, "How the hell did you shoot 16 shots more today than yesterday?" So it's just, you know, like championship golf, it can be volatile, the conditions can be tough, you can just start to, you know, the momentum can start to go the wrong way on you, but, you know, we're all great players, we're playing in the Masters, and, you know, we're all capable of shooting good scores.
Funny game, it's a day-to-day thing. Like yesterday I felt really sharp, today not as sharp. You know, could the conditions have attributed to that? I'm sure a little bit. It was definitely much harder to hit the ball where you were looking today just because the wind was blowing from everywhere. And, you know, that's what's great about this golf course is, you know, it's quite challenging, and you get winds like that. You really got to manage your expectations, manage yourself around the course. And sometimes I do a good job of that. Other times today, you know, maybe not so good.
Normally when I'm walking up 18 on a Friday, I'm very stressed out because I'm like on the cut line or whatever. So in one sense, it was nice to walk up there and know that I couldn't even mess that one up.
My group. You can watch the Masters all day, starting at 10. My group and featured groups on Masters.com and the Masters Tournament app.
Also at 10, Masters on the Range on CBS Sports Network, Masters.com, and the app.
And of course, the third round broadcast at 12 p.m. on Paramount Plus and 2 p.m. on CBS.
Okay, Hally, it's time for us to talk about who we're watching today.
Okay.
When we finish this show and we go our separate ways, who are you going to look at?
Rory McIlroy. I am going to watch him warm up at the tournament practice area, and then I am going to follow him because I am amazed by the resilience. I'm amazed at how much he shared in terms of his work with Dr. Bob Rotella on his mental game, and I just really, really want him to pull through. So, yeah, I'm just excited to go watch him.
Okay.
What about you?
I am sticking with my guns, and I am going to follow Matt McCarty.
I knew you were going to say that.
You knew I was going to say Matt McCarty.
I knew you were going to say that.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are not familiar with Matt McCarty, please put him on your radar. He is showing us some things that I think we all needed to see. He graduated from the Korn Ferry Tour with 3 straight wins, just 3 and done over a couple months. Got to the tour, got a win to get invited to the Masters, and here he is after the second round on the first page of the leaderboard. How could you not be excited for him? And he's a lefty.
I know.
It was a little bit of love for you in there too, Hally.
I know. Listen, I think a lot of people may not be familiar with him, but like you said, his game is absolutely incredible. I had heard the name. I will even call myself out here, Roger. We met him earlier in the week. He was so nice. And I go, Roger, what's that guy's name again? Like literally, so golf world, watch out. This man, Matt McCarty, is here to stay.
Watch out for Matt McCarty.
Yes.
Okay, now we're moving into, we only have 2 more seats left in our Masters.
Our classes are getting full.
The class is getting full. I'm going to go first.
Yes.
My Masters class today goes to the Masters app. I have spent so many hours on this app this week. It is insane. I do not know what I'm going to do with all of this additional time in my life after the Masters is over. But the data, the insights that it's given us, especially that range tracker feature, looking at players warm up has been, I don't know, very therapeutic for me. I don't know what it's doing for me, but I just think that they figured out how to make sure that you can get everything that you need out of that digital experience, and I have to put them in my Masters class. Congratulations to Augusta National and whoever handles that part of this experience.
IBM. IBM, thank you very much. Yeah, if you guys don't have the app, do yourself a favor and download it right now because it is really going to enhance your Masters viewing experience, that's for sure.
Hally, Masters class.
Okay, my Masters class, my second to last seat is going to none other than the peach ice cream sandwich. You may have heard, I've shared earlier in the show a couple days ago, I have been diagnosed with a severe dairy allergy. I have been very, very good at maintaining my no dairy until yesterday, Roger. I was sucked in to a ice cream sandwich, and do I have a small rash? Maybe, yeah. Was it worth it? Absolutely. So much so that I'm gonna have another bite right now because it is so good. And I maybe will have another one. So I'm giving my second to last seat peach ice cream sandwich.
Now, Hally, because I'm your friend, you know, we're going to find a knife after the show. I'm going to cut off part of that and finish it for you. You shouldn't have to go through that. You shouldn't have to eat that peach ice cream sandwich alone.
It's so good.
All right, that's it for us. Thank you so much for watching Mornings at the Masters. Remember, you can hit us in the chat on social, #MATM. Extra 2 hours of coverage today, more than ever before, and we'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
We know this place. We know the slopes of every fairway and the breaks on every green. We know every fist pump, every roar, and capture data on every shot by every player on every hole. And we use Watson X to turn that data into insight, bringing you closer to the Masters than ever before. Imagine what Watson X can do for your business. This is the Masters on AI.